After you've supposedly finished a painting, you may think you're done, but my advice is to wait at least a day without looking at the work before re-examining it again. Then take another look. You're probably going to find a few small things to change that you haven't noticed before. I believe this fresh look is brought about by time away from the painting. Now let's take a look at what we have here so far. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the varnish layer, and I just want to look around at this and spot anything that doesn't make any sense. And here's the way I do this. I apply what I call my what is that rule. And if I see something and I have to ask, what is that? Take it away, because you don't want things in your image that are going to do precisely that to your viewers. You want everything to be clear enough to be read so that there's no confusion about what things are. And I can see a few right away. For example, if we go over here, there are some strokes I painted at one point for some reason, but now they're just kind of these squiggles. What is that? Well, I have to ask that question. So this is due for removal. And I'm going to go and create a new layer above my background underneath the varnish coat. And let's get the opaque fan brush. I'm just going to reduce it now. And this is just going to be a painting brush that I'm going to use to pick up color and paint with. So let's grab this gray. And I'm just going to go in here and paint this out. Now, because the entire image is painted, all these strokes are going to fit in very nicely. And I'll just kind of feather this in here. So we don't want to have oddball things in here that are something that has to be asked. Here's another one, this little drip. I'm not sure what that is. I'm sure it was a reflection or something. And I'm just going to get rid of it. Another one is right here. You look at the total image and all of a sudden this thing just kind of stands out. It's like, what is that? Well, since I have to ask that question, it's going away. So here we'll just paint in the side of the car. And I think the windshield kind of got a little occluded by some paint. So I'm going to just add in a little hint of windshield color. It just gives the side of the car a little more shape that relates to the shape of a car. What else? Here's another one. This is a light standard with a traffic light on it. I'm not sure why this happened, but once again, I'm asking what is that? So I'm going to get rid of it. Even this little reflection or lighting back here is bothersome. So we're going to reduce that. Here's another thing I noticed. When I photographed this image, these cars were at a stop sign and there were no people in the intersection. However, the light had just turned green and it was up here, and somehow I kind of painted over it so there's no color in there. But if these people are crossing the intersection, it has to be red. And so I've got to change this traffic light so that it's red. So it's usually green, orange, and red. So red belongs right down here. And I'm going to grab a color, not too bright, and just paint it in there so that now we have the correct red light for this intersection. Also, this should be darker since it's not lit up. So let's sample that color, a dark color, and just fill it in. Okay, so now we've got the correct red light that should be showing when these people are crossing the intersection. So my advice to you is always, always, always give yourself a day or so to get away from a painting before declaring it finished, if at all possible. Sometimes in a rush job, you can't do that, but wherever possible, try to give yourself that time. It's all too easy to get completely absorbed by the minutia and lose sight of the big picture. By getting away from the work, you'll clear your mind and return with a fresh perspective with which to evaluate the painting.